can't see because I'm talking on the other side of this screen, I've got the man, the OG, the trailblazer, the guy who is one of my favorite guys. He was numero uno for the audio platforms for the Rocker Life upon his release of his 10th solo project. And now he is here with us as we come upon another Stryper release. And this one is called Even the Devil Believes. And it is going to be coming at you inbound and hot on September 4th. And you're going to have to not only run out and pick it up, I recommend you run out and pick it up on vinyl so that you can stare at the incredible artwork in your free time. And I also recommend you pick up a copy for your mobile device so you can jam it in the car too. But with further ado, I want to introduce my buddy Michael Sweet. Michael, how are you today, man?
Hey guys, what's going on, guys and gals? It's a great day here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I'm just hanging out with my cat. My cat's right over there. You can't see her, and we're chilling, man. It's quiet. I got to get out and do some stuff out in the yard today. Water the flowers and pressure wash the house, and then I'm going to do my ritualistic daily run to Starbucks. I haven't done that yet, but good day.
I actually, believe it or not, I have learned that about you, and I had that in my notes here to mention. So I'm still going to do it. We're just going to pretend like, no, but so starting off, man, I wanted to say, in several ways, it seems like we continue to see this growth and evolution of Stryper, which is so amazing given the longevity of the band, the career you've had, and your fans, myself included, from what I can tell on social media, are absolutely loving it. And number one, I wanted to ask, does that the fans have been requesting heavier material? You've even alluded to that yourself in social media posts. Does that thirst for the heaviness, the heavy aspect of Stryper, does that surprise you? And what do you attribute that to?
Well, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, because we've always been a heavy band, or at least we've always had a heavy side. You go back to the Yellow and Black Attack and, Come On Rock and From Wrong to Right, Loud and Clear. Those are heavy songs. So we've always had that side on every album, but we've always had the light side on every album as well. So you get the people that say, man, I love the heavy side, keep it coming. And you get the people that say, man, I don't like the heavy side. I'm tired of the heavy side. I've gotten older. I want a lighter side. Give me something like Calling on You.
Yeah.
We have both sides of the fence, and it's hard. But I think the key is listen to the fans, but also follow your heart.
Yeah.
If you're in a band, you got to do what makes you happy at the end of the day. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to listen to the album yourself and be proud of what you accomplished.
Right. You got to strike that balance.
You really do. You have to. And we try to do that. And I think we've managed to do that pretty good. We've gotten a little heavier. I would say our albums are they lean towards the heavy side these days, more so than they do the lighter side. So instead of 2 or 3 ballads on an album, we'll put 1 ballad on an album. But we've got, mid-tempo stuff as well. And then we've got 2 or 3 tracks always that are just like hit you in the face. Blood from Above is the first single from this album. Boom. But it's got to be Stryper. We can't wander too far away from who we are and become Anthrax or, Metallica. We can have bits and pieces in there that have similarities, but we're not Metallica.
Right.
Just like they're not Stryper. You're never going to hear them record a song that sounds like Stryper, nor should they.
Well, that's a perfect segue in talking about the first single, because in the second single, in Make Love Great Again, we get to hear what I believe personally as a Stryper fan and just interacting with Stryper fans, what many people have been itching to hear. And that's Perry Richardson's personal stamp on Stryper material. And just the song, the second single, just beginning with that low end growl. And for the first time, what better way to introduce Perry to the Stryper audience, being his first performance, on a actual tangible medium. A lot of us have seen you live, but to have it, on vinyl or digital, and to hear that is a really cool feeling. Talk to me about the chemistry with Perry in the studio and what he brought to the table, given his resume and his background.
Well, Perry's a true professional, all around, not just as a player or as a singer and a musician, but, as a person. He's a team player. I've said this multiple times, but it's so true. He's someone that plays for the team. You know, he's not coming in there when he's in the studio and I'm sitting there with him and I'm making suggestions. You know, hey, dude, why don't you try this? Or he gets hung up on a part or whatever, and then I'll say, hey, you know what? Do a run right there, man. Walk it. Walk the run right there. And he'll do it, and we'll all go, oh, yeah, that's really cool. He doesn't say, well, I don't want to do that. Or, you know, I'm not feeling that. You know, he'll try things with a smile on his face, and it's joyful and it's fun, and it doesn't become a Debbie Downer situation. You know, and that's what I love working. That's why I love working with Perry, because he's very open to being a team player and doing it for the team. And then he's a just phenomenal, amazing player and singer. You know, he actually came in and sang with Oz and I. Usually, not a lot of people know this, but most of the Stryper albums were just Oz and I singing.
Right.
You know, because we locked in better and our pitch was better with one another and it worked better. Perry is singing with us now because his pitch is so good and he locks in so good. So he's really a great singer and knows how to deliver vocal parts. And he knows how to harmonize and how to lock in, and it just works really great. And then his bass playing is, you know, what can you say about it? Solid as could be, great foundation in the pocket, phenomenal.
Well, you put up a post the other day, and I agree with all those points, by the way, but you put up a post the other day, and you were talking about the production of the album, mentioning your team at SpiritHouse Studios. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up with you was that, you know, you've developed obviously a refined process, and you've hit this incredible creative and productive stride. Give me a couple examples of things that you would switch up this time around as you're making Even the Devil Believes, of course, which is going to be out September 4th.
Sure.
What were some things you switched up this time around to continue keeping the Stryper production going in a way where there are some new and exciting elements at play?
Well, I mean, Danny, the engineer, and myself, we work really well together. And we're always thinking of new ways to make things sound better, to improve upon the sonic quality.
Right.
And whether that's the way the bass drum is mic'd, or the way the room mics are placed, or the type of mics we're using, or my vocal mic, to the guitar mic versus direct, what direct box we're using for a cab sim. You know, we're always trying new things. And some things don't work as well. Some things aren't so good, and we'll try them. We're like, you know, let's not do that. But usually, the experiments that we try in the studio wind up improving the quality. This time around on this album, we went for a little less of a slick sound. Not that Goddamn Evil was slick, but it might have been just a little more produced. This album the approach was less is more approach, a little more so. And I don't know if you can hear that or not, but we tried to just make it a little more basic in terms of effects used and tracks played and layering and overdubbing and all that stuff. And, you know, we sent it off to a mastering engineer by the name of Alex Saltz, who is part of the team now and really knows how to master our albums incredibly well. He doesn't get into the loud wars, oversaturate and compress them where they start to distort and sound grainy.
Yeah.
So we've really got a great combination going on here where I think the quality is the best it's been. Now, this is my opinion. People are going to argue with me, and that's fine. It doesn't change my opinion.
Sure.
My opinion is that the quality we're putting out right now, this new album, is the best we've ever put out. Better than the old days, better than Tales of the Devil, better than In God We Trust, better than Against the Law, better than all those albums, because we've got this sound that, to me, to my ears, when I put it in my car, I go like this. I go,
yeah.
You know, instead of this, like, you know, and there are things about all those albums I mentioned in the past that bother me.
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, I was
And
trying to catch up with Brian. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was
no,
trying to
no, no,
catch
no.
up with Brian later in the evening yesterday. Finally got the link and was able to just about 20 minutes before we got started, finish the preview, and I made some notes on things that jumped out at me. But I got to tell you, everything that you just said was I would have echoed it, maybe probably in different wording, I'm sure, but the rawness that you talked about and the absence of that gloss or sheen,
Yeah,
even though I don't think there was a high degree of that on Goddamn Evil, as you mentioned,
sure.
I do believe what you said is correct, and I loved the rawness of it. I think this is one of the releases where I can really hear, in listening to some of these songs, I can hear your influences. Now I'm privy to knowing that you're a Major League Van Halen fan. I know
Oh,
some of what Rob grew up listening to. So a lot of those things as far as influences, and I can hear those influences present, and I attribute that to just what you said, which was sort of the absence of that gloss or sheen, and I can hear it in there because of the rawness.
well, I'm happy, man. I'm happy, and I'm also a multi instrumentalist. I not a lot of people know this. I mean, I'm not a great bass player, but I play bass.
Sure. Yeah.
And I used to play bass when I was a kid, and my dad taught me how to play bass, and I know the foundation of bass, and uh, I'm very familiar with how that works and how it should work. I'm also a drummer. I used to sneak out on my brother's drum kit whenever he was at work, and I got pretty good. I'm not a great drummer. I'm not like Robert. I can't do crazy fills and stuff like that, but I can keep a good solid groove
Yeah.
and probably play on an album. And people might say, "Hey, that's who's drumming." I can drum. I can play a little keyboard, piano. Obviously, I can play guitar. I can sing. So where I'm going with this is because of that, because I can play multiple instruments. I focus on every instrument. So the drums are just as important as the guitars for me as a producer. The bass is just as important as the drums for me as a producer. So I'm always working and listening and focusing on every instrument to make sure it's good, because I want everyone listening. If there's a bass player listening, I want him to say, "Wow, the bass sounds great."
Yeah.
Not just guitar players to say, "Wow, the guitars sound great, but I can't hear the bass." And that's what happened on a lot of our albums in the past. Soldiers Under Command is a perfect example of that. Guitars sound killer. There's not much bass on it, though.
Yeah.
Every instrument's important to me as a producer, and that's hard to do sometimes. But and I think it's funny. I get a kick out of this. Danny and I joke about when it gets sent out to the guys in the band after we've mixed it, the rough mixes, what the comments are going to be, and they're always exactly that. It's hilarious. Literally, we're in tears sometimes, like crying, laughing, because Robert will listen, and then I'll call him, or he'll text me and he'll say, "Man, I think it sounds amazing, but if the snare could just come up a little bit, it's always drum related." And then with Oz, always it's like, yeah, I can't hear my solos. My solos aren't loud enough, and Danny and I are sitting there thinking like, it's the loudest thing in the
Yeah.
mix.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we turn it up anymore, it's going to be so imbalanced. But it's just funny, that's how people think. But I think we've got a really good, Danny and I have a really good grasp and grip on how to do this and make everyone happy. And we've got something really good going, and we're not planning on changing anything.
Yeah. Well, I think that as a producer, and I could imagine that, and I went back and totaled them up, and by my count, you've got officially 32 projects under your belt at this point, which is got to be a storied career by anyone's standards. So major props and kudos to you for that. But that leads me to this question. How do you how do you fan after 32 projects for all the years you've been doing this? How do you fan the creative flames at this point in your career? Where does that internal drive come from that you can continue to perpetuate that cycle? Stryper album, Stryper tour, prior to the current standings of things in the world, right into a solo album, right into, another project. Where does that come from?
It's just the love of music and the love for what I do. I feel like music is a limb on me. It's like it's an arm, it's a leg. You know, if you took it away from me, I'm not going to function the same way. Music is such a part of who I am, and there's always a song in my head to the point where it's maddening at times, where it can drive me crazy. You know, I'm always whistling. When I go out and work and I pressure wash a house, I'm whistling all the time. Everywhere I go, people always comment on, "Oh, nice whistling," and I'm whistling an idea. I'm
Yeah,
whistling a song. There's always a song in my head spinning round and round. And sometimes it keeps me from sleeping. Sometimes it irritates my wife. Sometimes it irritates my daughter because they're talking to me and I'm thinking about something else. So it's a blessing and a curse. But man, I take the blessings and run with it. And I'm just so thankful that I have that gift and that ability. And I think there's a lot more to come, Lord willing, if I'm
sure.
still here on earth. There's a lot more to do and a lot more to come. And I'd like to get those 32 projects up to 50 or 60 or 70 projects by the time I'm no longer here and I take my last breath. Maybe that'll happen. Does it matter? No. Will anyone really notice? Probably not. Who cares? It's not about that for me. It's just that I get to do what I love to do, and I'm so happy to be able to say that.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's wrap right here. And I have something I want to share with you just quickly offline before you go. But what hints can you drop? Because you had a post talking about making your own rules, which I loved. And it was having to do with the state of the music business, the state of touring and whatnot. And you made a post that said, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to break rules and make our own rules.
Yeah.
So can you give listeners, fans a hint of what that might entail?
Well, yeah. I mean, those rules that we're gonna. I don't even know if we're breaking rules, but it's just what I meant by that is even though we can't tour, we're gonna find a way around it.
Yeah.
We're not a band, and I'm not specifically, you know, especially a guy that goes in a corner and says, "Oh well, I'm defeated. I can't do it. So I'll go get a job. I'm going to go apply it some other place, at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever." I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm just not that guy. You're not going to defeat me easily. You're not going to defeat me at all. It's just my personality. I'm going to get right back up if I get knocked down and keep moving. So we have found ways and things to do. For example, the guys flew out here. We quarantined here at my house. We shot 2 music videos. Everyone told us we shouldn't do it. Everyone said, "What are you, crazy?" No, just life must go on.
Yeah.
We're not going to fall prey or fall into the trap of, you can't do stuff anymore. Life's different now. No, it's not. It's
Right.
not going to be different for us. We'll wear the mask. We'll hand sanitize and do all the stuff that's required, but we're still making music. We're still flying, getting on planes. We're still getting in cars, trains, and whatever. And we're doing what we do.
Yeah.
And we shot 2 videos. We also shot 2 live albums in their entirety for on demand. So that's something that we're doing. Instead of the live streaming, which most of the time those are pretty bad. I've seen a lot of them. They're not very good. We're doing live on demand. So we're able to keep it live, but track it in a way where it sounds like an album. It sounds phenomenal. Everything's
Wow.
mic'd. We're in a
That's awesome.
studio. And we did 2 albums. The new album, Even the Devil Bleeds, from start to finish. And we did To Hell with the Devil from start to finish.
Man.
Those are the first in the series that are going to be coming out. And it's kind of like live at Daryl's house. There's footage of us talking about the songs and eating and hanging out. And then we'll break into the song. And it's really cool. So we're going to do every album like that over the next year.
Awesome.
Every album.
Are you breaking that here? Have you talked to anyone else about that yet?
Well, I mean, I've mentioned it, not in the way I'm mentioning it now, but
Okay.
it's really cool, and
Yeah, definitely.
it's a way for us to still play live and bring a live show to the people, and really bring something unheard of to the people, because we'll get to perform every album in its entirety for everyone. And man, that's never been done before.
Right.
It's a really cool way to do it, and we can afford to do it. We've been, my wife Lisa is so smart, man, and she's so frugal, and she's such an incredible gift to us. She's helped us to save money and put it away for a rainy day, and we have the money to be able to do this on our own.
Yeah.
And we can go in and do this stuff on our own. So, man, we're really a blessed band. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely. Well, I know that as far as listeners and fans are concerned, and myself, we're all looking forward to Even the Devil Believes. Once again, coming at you on Friday, September 4th. We're all anxious to hear it. I'm anxious to experience it on vinyl for myself, especially on that beautiful yellow vinyl that I was lucky enough to grab one before they all sold out. So that's,
Yeah.
So you just heard it from the man, Rocker Nation. That's Michael Sweet. Pay homage, kiss the ring. And Michael, you have a great day, man. And I just want to share something with you real quick offline once we're wrapped up.
All right, man. God bless everyone watching and listening. Love you all. Can't wait for you to hear the album. I hope you love it.